Welcome, everybody, to the newest episode of the Zero Budget Podcast, episode 20.
Why'd you make my nose so small?
I don't know. I still think it looks like you. I don't care.
Right.
I think it looks very like, for those of you listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, which we are now on.
Ooh.
I'm showing a picture that I painted of Matthew for a show that we were doing, Three Musketeers.
Yes.
And honestly, I think I did a really good job. I mean, you got the smile.
It's very beautiful.
You got the vastly offset eyes. I think.
Hey! What do you mean?
I mean, your eyes.
Do we need to do a comparison right now?
I think we might need to do a comparison.
Do we need to do a comparison right now?
Holy shit, dude! Matt has a camera.
I finally got a camera.
Episode 20, we're bigger and better. Y'all don't even know what we got in store.
Not at all. You didn't expect this.
You didn't
expect the people who did.
You didn't expect to see Matt's ugly mug, huh? Huh? Matt, make the face. I think it looks like you, dude.
Okay. All right.
We're here.
We're
Episode
here.
20. The big episode that we were hyping up for the past few weeks. Why were we hyping it up, Matt?
Yes. We're making some changes, to say the least.
Making some changes. As you can see, if you are listening, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a brand new layout. I'm in this little box, Zero Budget Podcast, right there, where you can listen to us, our names and everything. We got that. We got a new intro that you guys just watched. What else do we got? What other changes are we making, Matthew?
So this is more based on content than anything else. But we're actually gonna probably steer away from politics for a little bit. Not necessarily stop talking about it. But we're gonna take a break.
Yeah, it's not gonna be our primary focus anymore.
Yeah. I think we just want to have more fun and less sad.
Yeah. There was like a stretch there of like 3 or 4 weeks where every episode that we did was just like the most depressing thing, and I would end it just completely bummed out. And if I was ending it like that as a host, no one wants to listen to that.
So we're just gonna try to have a bit more fun, almost kind of like this will be our de-stressor for the week.
Yeah.
But with that, we're gonna try to go for a more chill vibe, while still like keeping the energy high and stuff. Woo.
Woo.
And as you already see, looks quite professional in my opinion. I think Juptej did quite a lovely job on everything.
Thank you, Matthew.
Juptej, what else are we doing new?
Well, we have the new logo, which I made. I think it looks very nice, to be honest.
Yes, it does.
We're gonna try to bust up the advertising game, because right now all we really do is like we post a picture and then we're like, hey, new episode. I want to start doing clips. I think doing clips, posting clips on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, Reddit, could help give a little teaser. And then they're like, oh, I want to see more of these two guys having wacky times on the Zero Budget Podcast.
Wacky times.
Very wacky times were had by all. We're also going to cut down the episodes to around an hour. There were times where we went for like 2 hours and still talked about nothing.
Yeah.
So
we kind of go in circles almost.
Yeah. So we're keeping it short, keeping it brief. We're just gonna be a part of your weekly routine. I was gonna do a daily routine thing, like Good Mythical Morning, and then no.
And also, if you stick around to the end of the podcast, I have a very special announcement.
Very special announcement from Matt. I actually have a special announcement that I didn't tell you And I'm going to announce it right here. Nobody knows this.
Okay.
Today, or at least the day that this is going to come out, is the 1 year anniversary of the Zero Budget Podcast. I had no idea until last night that we're completely revamping, re-whatevering the podcast on the 1 year anniversary. We made this account on September 26th of 2019. And we put out our first little promo video, new podcast, on September 27th. And then we did our first live show on September 28th.
Wow, look at that.
Look at how far we've come, huh? 19 episodes later, and we're pretty all right. We dropped Bennett, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to our boy Bennett.
Remember when he came on an episode just drunk?
Yeah, what the fuck was that all about?
Oh, Bennett.
I love that guy. But yeah, so 1 year episode. I mean, like, it's kind of weird that we're like still doing it a year later. You know?
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, we did take
fell off for 30 weeks.
Big break.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the same thing, basically.
I mean, why did we decide to do it again? Was it just because we were bored?
I think we were just bored in quarantine, really. It was the summer, Yeah. I guess, when did we start back up?
We started back up like May.
Yeah.
It was right around the time, I remember, because we had KJ on for our first episode. It was right around the time that the protests were starting to ramp up. And we had
then you quit Cutco.
Then we quit Cutco and decided that was more important to talk about for some reason. But yeah. Do you ever just think like, why am I still doing this? Why are we still doing the podcast?
It's interesting. It's fun. I think to keep that fun energy, let's get into our first topic.
Let's get into our first topic. Huh? Gabish?
Good old Charles.
Good old Charles.
James Charles, to be specific.
James Charles. So if you guys haven't heard, James Charles came out with the new hoodie. And as you know, Matt, I'm an avid fan of James Charles.
Oh, you are?
I'm a Charles sister. I'm a James Charles sister. Is that what they call themselves as fans?
I think they're just sisters.
They're just sisters? I'm a sister.
Yeah. That doesn't shock
me. Fuck. Can you hear that going on? Sorry.
No.
I don't know if you can hear that. They could probably hear it at home. We have construction going on today. So like all this time, nothing was happening. The day I decide, you know what, we're going to do a complete repackaging of the podcast. We're going to change everything up. They decided to do construction right outside of my window. So apologies to our lovely viewers. But James Charles.
Yeah, I don't accept your apology. But anyways.
Fuck. James Charles came out with a hoodie as a part of his merch line. And H3H3, friend of the show, is accusing James Charles of stealing the design for his hoodie from their company, Teddy Fresh. Mm-hmm. So we're going to pull him up and allow you guys to be the judge. Okay, so this is the tweet. Let me actually pull up the hoodie. Okay, so this is the hoodie. Matt, I'm showing them. And for those of you listening at home, right now we're looking at James Charles wearing his sister hoodie next to a drawing of Ela Klein from H3H3, her design of the hoodie. And I actually wanna find the actual thing. So here's the H3 hoodie, right? You got the blue, you got the lighter blue, you got the pink. But the part that's like really criminalizing is that not criminalizing. That can't be what I'm trying to say. Incriminating. That's what it is. The part that's really incriminating is the drawstrings and the hood, and then the sleeves are yellow on this. And it's literally the exact same fucking thing on James's hoodie, except it's more pastel.
Yeah, the James hoodie is basically just a little desaturized compared to the Teddy Fresh hoodie. It's kind of like I remember when this kind of first broke, and when Ethan tweeted it about it, and some people on the Twitter thread were just like, "Well, like Ela didn't invent color blocking, so like."
Yeah,
It's like not it's
yeah, which is literally
even though
what
literally
they said.
in the main tweet Ethan's like, we didn't invent color blocking.
Let's pull up that tweet.
However, it looks so similar, it doesn't matter.
I didn't even pull up the tweet where he called him out. That's embarrassing. Anyways, yeah. So,
Wow.
Oh no, here it is. I know we didn't invent color blocking, but I'm having a hard time with the new James Charles merch. It's the same exact design as Ela's, combined with the fact that his audience is so huge. Many people will assume he designed it and start accusing us of plagiarism. What do you think? And both of them side by side. I mean, dude, if you're these are the same thing. So wow, that's so loud. That is so fucking loud, dude. Okay, they're finally fucking done. Holy shit. I wanted to change up my setup. What the hell? Welcome back. Welcome back.
We're back.
Welcome back. We had to cut away there because there's construction happening right outside of my window. So
Yummy.
There's a lot of noise going on. But basically, we started talking about James Charles and how he straight up ripped this hoodie off of H3. And James Charles's fans are kind of in a fuss about it. I mean, it's not just James Charles fans. It's more like Keemstar and Leafy fans who just want to like poke at him.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. But here you see the color block hoodie from Teddy Fresh, which is H3H3's company. You see the design from Ela is the blue in the middle, the blue left arm, or the blue right arm, I guess, the pink left arm, yellow sleeves, yellow drawstrings, yellow hood. And then you go to the James Charles color palette, and it's the exact same thing, just more pastel.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny because like Ethan Music tweets about it, and then Charles was just like, "Hey, my DMs are open if you want to talk," and then Ethan was just like, "Hey, this looks eerily similar to the design we made, a couple years ago, and then has been on the market for a couple years now." I think Teddy Fresh came out my freshman year of college.
Oh yeah, Teddy Fresh has been around. Teddy Fresh has been around for a while. They're like a pretty big brand now.
Yeah, I remember my old roommate got a Teddy Fresh sweater while we were in our freshman year. So
yeah. I mean, I went to the mall the other day and I saw one inside of like, what is it, Zoomies or something? Or it's crazy.
Zoomies.
But of course,
is that the skater shop?
Oh yeah, they want to be like a streetwear brand, so makes sense. But here are the DMs from James Charles and Ethan. James says, "Oof, looking closer at the screenshot you just sent me, I will give you the heads up that one of the colorways we're doing is actually an exact copy of the purple, tan, pink, and teal hoodie you guys have."
I'll give him. He's honest.
Except he wasn't honest in
wasn't?
the tweet. Because the tweet that he made said, "When you DM'd me yesterday, I sent you the original photo that inspired my collection, explained I've never seen your brand, but also asked what you wanted me to do. You didn't reply. After last year, I vowed to keep conversations private and create solutions, not drama." Last year, of course, being his drama with Tati. Bye, sister. So this is H3 saying, "Bye, sister," to James Charles.
Bye, sister.
Bye, sister. But yeah, he straight up says it's an exact copy of that hoodie. The purple, tan, pink, and teal. Let me look at the picture for that one, because Ethan also replied with a different color scheme, saying that it kind of looks similar. If you're listening along at home, you can pull up these tweets. Yeah, so there was another hoodie, purple arm, pink torso, blue arm, and then white sleeves, hoodie, and drawstrings. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think the resemblance is as close with this one. It's definitely there. I mean, the purple torso, pink arm, blue arm, except the pocket, the torso pocket is white in this one. But this is the one that he says was ripped directly off of Teddy Fresh. But then the pastel one, he's like, it was inspired by a Nike hoodie, but they look smack the same. What do you want me to do about it?
I mean, I kind of understand what James is coming from, in the sense of just like, hey, assuming that he didn't know what Teddy Fresh was, right?
Yeah.
So in the best scenario I can give him, assuming he doesn't know what Teddy Fresh was, I'm assuming he's just kind of like, well, what should I do? I think the correct answer is like maybe just take it down and redesign it.
Well, this third screenshot is the one that's the most incriminating. He says, once again, under upside down smiley face. The main hoodie in the collection isn't knocked off. It had a different source of inspiration, has a different color body, and different color pocket. And logo is completely different placement, size, and color. You don't own color block either. The other colorway, which I did not personally select but approved, however, is extremely similar, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of how the design team came up with it. Regardless, we don't have the same fan base or demographic, so there's really no competition here. As I can tell you, all I can tell you is that I've never shopped on your website before, so I did not copy your brand. So it looks like he's saying that the purple one actually wasn't the one that was the same. I think this is talking about the one that's directly ripped off of Teddy Fresh. But he just says, we don't have the same fan base, so there's no competition, so let me steal your hoodie.
Yeah. Bro, my fan base is, 14-year-old girls. Your fan base is something.
Yeah. That's so weird.
So don't worry about it.
And it's not like James Charles isn't one to be upset about copyright. I mean, we can look at this tweet here. There are only so many... Fuck me. So James Charles also complains about copyright, as he rightfully should. As he says right here, the Wet and Wild palette stole from his color palette. And he says in this too, I'm not claiming to own any colors, and I certainly wasn't the first to create a rainbow palette, but the colors and the placement are exactly the same, which is exactly what Ethan said.
I think the Wet and Wild palette got inspiration from somewhere else.
They don't even have the same demographics, so I don't think...
Yeah, like they don't have the same audience or anything like that. Wet and Wild sells to someone.
And James Charles sells to girls.
Yeah, the teenagers.
I think...
Teenagers are real people.
Dude, honestly, I think Ethan gets a lot of flack from earlier on in his podcasting career, where the podcast was awful. But if you look at like the recent dramas he's taken up, I think they're all very like reasonable, and it makes sense. Like Keemstar and Leafy, people give him shit for continuing that feud, but Keemstar and Leafy are actively making people's lives worse. Leafy tried to drive a woman to suicide like 2 weeks ago, but H3 is happy when Leafy gets kicked off of Twitch, so H3 is the devil and they are the same. Like, no, dude, fuck off.
I don't really keep up with H3 that much anymore, personally. Besides whatever they post on social media.
I definitely fell off for a while, but I got back on because their recent content has been really good. They release like 4 episodes a week. It's insane. And they've started doing more like segments and series. They do like a live show every week. I think it's clear that they're making like an effort to produce good content, which is always appreciated. But what's our verdict on James Charles, huh?
Guilty.
Guilty.
Send him to the social slammer.
You get 15 years of bye, sister.
Bye, sister.
Bye, sister.
No, he has to be by for 15 years.
He has to be bye. What the fuck? Anyways, I don't think we can legally enforce that. Oh, fuck. What else we got, huh?
It's my time.
Let's keep this
my
train
time
moving along.
So, JFK. Opinions?
Great.
Doesn't matter. He was assassinated.
Oh.
So you have to like...
I have to...
So, there's been some controversy around his death. A lot of conspiracy theories. A lot.
Well,
And
let's set up the segment a little bit first. We got...
No.
Yes. We got
Okay.
A request from when we did when we were looking for like ideas and stuff for the new format. We got a request saying that we should debunk myths and propaganda from Juptej, who is a friend of me. So I really liked that idea, and we're both like not super into conspiracy theories. I'd say we're aware of them. So we thought it would be fun to break some down. So Matt, take it away.
So I selected 5 quite popular conspiracy theories surrounding the JFK assassination. Because, funny enough, I can't remember who conducted the poll, but 61% of Americans believe that there is some form of a conspiracy with the JFK assassination, which is quite big. It's probably one of the most widely accepted things that to be conspiracied. It's more just where they think conspiracies lie. And we're going to go down, and I'm going to discuss the conspiracy theory real quick. Jup, you can join if you would want to. And then I'm going to give my own personal possibility rating, basically just how possible this probably is, or how possible it's not, 1 through 10.
Fantastic.
So let's go with the first theory, which I think is actually probably the most common, which is the grass knoll theory. Mm-hmm. So basically the theory goes, people think there were actually 2 gunmen and just instead of 1. And this theory kind of just floated around for a while, just because JFK got shot twice and how the bullets went through him and stuff. And a lot of people are just like, Oswald wasn't doing it himself. But the theory never gained traction until it went to the House of Representatives, which in 1976 they made a committee on reinvestigating both JFK's and Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, which just helped fuel this theory. To my knowledge, the committee found basically nothing, which doesn't shock me, for it is the House of Representatives.
Good old American propaganda, huh?
In 1982, though, a third party called the National Academy of Science Committee on Ballistic Acoustics found that reliable acoustic data does not support the conclusion that there was a second gunman. So I don't know how much you want to believe that.
The acoustic what?
The acoustic data.
So is that just sound? It's just like an organization that studies sound?
I'm not sure what acoustic means when it comes to bullets and stuff, because I'm not a gun guy. But I'm assuming they're a gun specialty group. I don't know. The science of guns, probably. But they conclude just how the bullets went into JFK's body, it would have been unlikely that there was a second guy on the ground or something.
So the theory is Lee Harvey Oswald, the guy that actually killed him, was up in the window of the building. And the theory is that there was a second gunman behind the grassy knoll next to the car who then booked it.
Yeah. And Oswald was the fall guy. The probability scale of this, in my opinion, it's a 4 out of 10. It's not it's the logic is there, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, you think 2 shots, and especially something that big, you know, it would be hard to do by yourself. But I mean, with like multiple sources saying that it probably wasn't a second person, I don't know. The evidence just isn't there.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
Okay.
Because I think I'm one of the people that does believe that there's something fishy going on there, mainly because I saw a movie one time, so I know a little bit about what I'm talking about.
There's actually one in here that I think is actually very likely, or at least the most likely.
Have you seen the JFK movie?
Which one?
I think it's literally just called JFK. Let me look it up. JFK.
No, I think the only JFK movie I saw was about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, it's called JFK. It's from the 90s. Directed by Oliver Stone, who is isn't he like he's a prominent documentarian, right? Or am I wrong about that?
No, I've never heard of him.
He makes a lot of political movies. He made Scarface. Holy shit. Look at that.
Wow.
Oliver Stone. He wrote the screenplay for Scarface. But he makes a lot of like political thrillers and stuff and political commentary movies. And JFK goes over the assassination from the perspective of an investigative journalist who claimed to have uncovered the truth around the JFK assassination conspiracy. And I watched that movie, so again, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And I'm one of the people that believes I can see his feet.
You see whose feet?
The construction dude.
Oh.
There's 2 of them. I'm one of the people that believes that there's something fishy going on with JFK's assassination.
I also believe something happened, but I think something different happened.
Well,
we're actually going to get to the one I believe.
Let's go over the rest of them.
The second theory that I found was the Umbrella Man. Now, this is in reference to a man who was standing along the parade route, who was carrying an umbrella that day. It was a very sunny day, so people are curious why he's carrying an umbrella.
Dude. Oh, hold on, they're about to do it again. I can see him. What are they even doing? Is that a jigsaw? Are they taking a jigsaw to my table?
This is theory basically questions why there is a man who has an umbrella in a very sunny day on a presidential parade route in Texas. In that famous.
Should I pull up this picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can find it real quick, but it's from the famous Zapruder film. You know, the film that shows JFK getting assassinated. And apparently he's standing in the background, and at one point he raises his umbrella. And there are 2 theories about this umbrella man. One of them is that he signaled to Lee Harvey Oswald to take the shot, basically. So kind of almost an extension of that second gunman kind of thing. But the other theory with the umbrella man is much more funnier, in my opinion. Some people believe he had a poison dart in his umbrella and shot JFK.
Because it's always the least probable. It's always the least probable one. Oh my god! Let me pull up this fucking picture. Look at this little guy.
This umbrella man, Louis Stephen Witt, was interviewed actually. Yeah, he was actually interviewed much later. I don't remember how much later. I think it's sometime in the 70s. And apparently Witt was just like a dumb conservative who just came to heckle the president, or at least that is his story.
He's wearing all black too on a sunny day.
Yeah. But to my knowledge, Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't, so I don't know why the shooter wouldn't be in all black, but the random dude would be. I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at pictures. It looks like they're all wearing like suits, so it makes sense, I guess.
I mean, it's the 60s.
Yeah, everybody's just they had no sense of fashion.
I think they just thought some things were like really important, such as like a presidential parade. But anyways, on my probability scale of like this being like what happened, it's like a 2. I mean, it's like not possible.
The poison dart, or that he was involved.
Oh, definitely the poison dart. The poison dart is like a 2. No, a 0. Overall, like a 2, just because of that dumb poison dart thing.
I'm gonna give poison dart a 7.
Oh, you think it's not that probable?
I think it's. I'm gonna give it a 9. I think that's what happened. That's my theory. No, I'll give it a 2 because I remember when I was like super into the JFK stuff. I also saw a theory that he had a gun, like his umbrella.
Like in the
yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking penguin.
I'm not even joking. There was a theory that his umbrella was a gun, and when he lifted it up, he was lifting up a secret like little compartment thing that would then shoot the president. It's not a joke.
I got you now, Batman.
Yeah, that's a 2 from me.
Umbrella Man's dumb. Now, this next one's actually the one I kind of believe the most because of a lot of evidence. So basically, this is the mob hit theory. And basically, under JFK, a lot of things happened. One of those things was Castro stayed in power. And because Castro stayed in power, I guess it affected the casino business. I'm not sure how, not sure why. I didn't do much research on that end. But all I know is that is... Oh yeah, communism, bad.
Capitalism is when casino, and communism is when no casino.
Exactly. Thank you for summing up that correctly.
Of course.
But also Robert Kennedy was cracking down on the mobs in general. So the mobs did not like this. And actually, to a quote from biographer Evan Thomas, Robert Kennedy had feared that he had somehow gotten his own brother killed. That's Robert Kennedy's attempt to prosecute the mob and to kill Castro had backfired in some terrible way. Had blown back, as intelligence folks say. Bobby thought he had killed not his brother, and now he has this daunting, horrible realization or fear that all his attempts to get the mob and to get Castro have some terrible way blown up and come back to haunt his family and result in the death of the president and his brother. So basically, just like Robert Kennedy was fucking around a bit too much, so the mob got a little upset. Thus, they probably hired Oswald to, assassinate JFK.
Classic Robert Kennedy.
Oh, Bobby.
Am I tripping, or like were all of the Kennedys assassinated, or a good amount of the Kennedys have been assassinated?
I mean, you know that joke from Clone High, that one meme that's going on. Ah ha ha ha! Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. Ah! I mean, that's literally that joke. I mean, like every major Kennedy.
What the fuck was that? Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys is a saying outside of Clone High.
I mean, I remember I saw it. Speaking about TikTok, I saw a TikTok that actually explained every Kennedy's death, and it's
there's something shady around all of them.
Not even a lot of them have died in plane crashes.
Ooh, that's sus. I think that's sus.
I mean, both JFK and Robert Kennedy were assassinated.
I think it's sus that they died in plane crashes because how many plane crashes happen? First of all,
well, most of them were piloted by the Kennedys, so I don't know. Maybe someone fucked with their planes before they took off. But
doesn't the CIA hate Kennedy? Isn't that a theory?
Well,
we're gonna get to that one.
We're gonna get to that. Okay.
So I think the mob hit's the most realistic, in my opinion. There's a lot of evidence behind it.
This is just he fucked around with the mob, got caught.
Basically.
I think that's the one that was presented in the JFK movie.
Yeah, so, and I think that's at least an 8 out of 10. I'm still a healthy skeptic, so none of these are actually 10 out of 10s.
I'm gonna give this one. I'm pretty sure there was something tying Lee Harvey Oswald to the mob, so I'm gonna give this one a 7.5.
Yeah,
because I don't think Castro had anything to do with it. I think that's weird.
I don't know. Maybe it was Cuban mobs. I don't fucking know. But next one's probably the most famous one, the CIA theory.
Fuck the CIA. First of all, can we just say fuck the CIA?
Sure. Frick the CIA. Except if I work for them. Please.
In which case,
I'm kidding.
Daddy CIA.
So I think we all know this.
Matt is simping for the CIA.
They may pay well. We all kind of know the story about the CIA one, or at least if you don't, I'll sum it up really quickly. Basically, with the failure of the Bay of Pigs invasion, JFK wanted to dismantle the CIA because he felt it was pointless and useless. CIA did not want to get dismantled, at least in the series, so they assassinated JFK so they wouldn't get dismantled because they felt as Lyndon B. Johnson would not dismantle the CIA, which he didn't, so they would be correct. Funny thing about this theory, actually, this is real, by the way. Bobby Kennedy, aka Robert Kennedy, thought the CIA was like the prime suspect at first.
Ooh.
He legitimately thought like, oh, the CIA fucking killed him, or like a rogue portion of the CIA killed JFK.
Yeah,
but then they
had like big time beef, right?
Yeah, they do, especially Robert Kennedy, because Robert Kennedy really didn't like the CIA.
So
JFK was just kind of like thought they were just incompetent. Robert thought they were like bad.
Was Robert also assassinated by the CIA?
He was. Oh no, I'm not sure about. I haven't looked at Robert Kennedy assassination theories, but to my knowledge, they'd probably be very similar.
Damn, poor Kennedys. I mean,
yeah.
And then you got that kid who got assassinated by Ed Markey. In the polls. Yeah.
That's a funny joke.
You get it?
Yeah,
because he lost by a huge margin.
By like 10%.
By like 10 points. Anyways.
Jeez. Yeah, basically the CIA denied it. Robert Kennedy changed his mind after meeting with the director of the CIA.
Sus.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, and we'll get you too.
Yeah, I kind of give this like a 6 because I think it's fun to think about, but like I don't know, you know.
I give this one an 8.5. I believe this one the most, because the CIA, because also it was like Kennedy was, people called Kennedy like a communist because he was soft on Russia and Cuba and stuff like that.
I wouldn't say Kennedy was soft on Russia at all.
That's what they said. They were like, he's dirty commie. That was the meme.
I mean, like, yeah, if that's the meme, it doesn't support reality.
I wouldn't agree, but that's that's still a meme. So like, and the CIA has been known to
take out world leaders, especially during the 60s.
Take motherfuckers out if they don't comply with the CIA's interests. And not even in the 60s. I mean, they've been known to like stage fucking coups in other countries. So, I wouldn't be. It's not shocking to me if the CIA was to have killed Kennedy.
That's kind of how I feel about the CIA one. It's not. I wouldn't be shocked by it. I just don't think it's the realist possibility. You know, and I think it's just a personal thing.
I see it as the most likely scenario because the CIA is dumb.
So let's get to objectively the funniest one. Ted Cruz's dad. So in 2016, during the RNC primaries, Trump implied that Ted Cruz's father was an associate with Lee Harvey Oswald, and then thus also participating in the assassination of JFK. To quote good old Orange Man on Fox News during a phone interview, his father was with Lee Harvey Oswald prior to Oswald being, shot. I don't know if he means like Harvey Oswald being shot or like Harvey Oswald doing the shooting. Because Oswald was like in custody at the time before he was shot. So like, I'm not sure how Cruz's dad would have done anything with that. So after Trump, even after beating Cruz to the nomination in 2016, Trump still kept calling it to attention. To quote him, all I did was point out the fact that on the cover of the National Enquirer, there was a picture of him, Rafael Cruz, and crazy Lee Harvey Oswald having breakfast. What? I don't know why he thinks the National Enquirer is a very reliable source. But I think
those photos of me with Epstein, those are fake news. But the picture of them having a lovely meal must mean that they assassinated the president together. I turned into Bernie there towards the end.
This probability rating is like a 1, but it's really funny.
This is a 10 for me. This is the one.
That's fair.
This is definitely what happened. I find it so weird that Ted Cruz is now like cucking for Donald Trump. Trump's like, hey, your dad's a fucking murderer. Was that the Zodiac killer meme? He's like Ted Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. And his dad killed JFK. So it's a family of murderers. Runs in the blood. Then he was like, hey, Ted Cruz, your wife is fucking ugly. Just on the debate stage.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I would be a better president than you, and your wife's ugly. And then he became president.
Yes, Donald.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Daddy Donald.
Thank you, Donald. Now let me grow out this beard.
Dude, his beard fucking rocks. I don't care. His beard makes me want to have Ted Cruz
I will
as president.
give him credit for being one of the only politicians in America to actually have facial hair, or at least one of the higher ranking politicians.
And good facial hair at that.
Yeah.
Like, it looks fantastic on him.
I think if you're just like a tad bit skinnier, I think it would look really good.
Are you fat shaming Ted Cruz now?
Yeah, I guess I am.
I find it so weird that all these politicians, the second Trump got into office, are now just like simping for him. But I guess that makes sense for a cold-blooded murderer like Ted Cruz, who came from a cold-blooded murderer like Ted Cruz's father. Oh, yes. This is a 10. This is the only thing I will ever believe.
So those were 5 theories I found about JFK and their probabilities. Some of them a bit more ridiculous, like the Umbrella Man and Ted Cruz's father. But some of them I think have legitimate like evidence and motives to them.
I think we can all agree, though, that Lee Harvey Oswald I think Lee Harvey Oswald killed him, but wasn't the only man. I feel like he was a fall guy in a much bigger operation.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's almost a given, right? I mean, you're assassinating the president. That's not a hey, I'm gonna go out. Maybe I'll take a couple notes. Just gonna shoot him. That's not like I'm gonna walk down the street and kill the president.
I mean, admittedly, security concerns around the president were a lot less strict back then. I mean, we have all these security measures in place because of JFK.
King.
So, fallen king.
Oh my god.
I don't know what that was. I think that's all we got from that.
Yeah, JFK. There were Martin Luther King theories like that too, right? Like the CIA killed Martin Luther King because he was a socialist.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And he was getting closer to actually fixing race relations in America.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question.
Oh, I may have an answer.
Matt.
Yes.
What have you been doing?
I'm glad
we don't have a song for that. That's why I kind of took a pause, and I was like, "This is where we'll put the song in." But then I realized we don't have a song for that yet, so we'll just cut that out, and then we'll talk about the awkwardness. But then the audience will have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay.
It'll be a seamless transition to them. So Matt,
yes,
what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? At least with like media watching stuff. I've been watching Doomsday Preppers. Oh my god, that shit is so funny. There's this guy, right, who thinks that the pole shiftings means that there will be more earthquakes.
The pole shifting, like the presidential poles.
No, like the North and South Pole.
They're shifting.
I mean, yeah, they always shift, but like a total flip.
Are they? Is that what's happening? Are they flipping around? Or?
I don't think they're flipping around at the moment. They do move though a lot.
Because there's a geographic. It sounds like the dude has a point. So I think instead of slamming him, we should take into account what he has to say, and maybe we could all be saved.
So it's funny because I was actually explaining to my girlfriend because she didn't think the electromagnetic poles existed. She thought it was fake.
What?
Because I mean, like, there's the geographic North Pole, and then there's like the magnetic North Pole, and the magnetic North Pole shifts around about 25 feet per year in just like every direction. And you know, the magnetic field is there's it's a whole thing. But basically, sometimes they just flip. They just do. I don't know how to explain. I don't know why.
Sounds good to me.
It wouldn't really do anything. I mean, besides like your compass would be pointing the wrong direction, I guess. So theoretically, if this was north and moved down there, your compass would be pointing down to south. So really, all you would need to do is just make new compasses.
Is this like a Y2K situation where like everybody thought that the world was gonna end because the year went up a number, but then nothing happened?
Kind of, yeah.
So does this happen like often? Like, why have I never heard about this?
The poles always shift, but they don't always flip.
So when are they going to flip?
I don't know.
Are they going to flip? Dude, I feel like we should know about this. I'm looking this up right now. Are the poles going?
I remember because like a lot of like Christians used pseudoscience back in the day to like explain stuff like that.
Earth's poles will eventually flip. So what then? Yeah, what fucking then? That's terrifying. Don't talk about it nonchalantly. You know what? This guy has a point.
Doesn't it's just the electromagnetic field.
Okay, this is a long article. I don't want to read about this. What harmful effects possible disruptions may have? Dude, we're all gonna fucking die. This is from the National Geographic. Electromagnetic disruptions in space can also be incredibly damaging to the technologies we depend on. This is Y2K, dude. This Doomsday Prepper has a point.
That's not the pole flipping.
Yes, it is. This is the National Geographic.
Read the title again.
Hold on. Shut up. Enter my email. Earth's poles will eventually flip, so what then?
Yeah. That's the long one that you didn't read, right?
It's what?
The long one that you didn't read?
I skimmed.
Oh, that's fair.
And my skimming brought me those findings. What have I been doing? Thank you for asking.
Oh, yes. What have you been doing?
I don't think I've watched a movie in the past week because I've been really swamped with school. Oh no, I did. I watched Tenet, and Tenet fucking sucked. Tenet was so god awful, and I was like really disappointed because I was looking forward to that movie. I was like really genuinely excited to watch Tenet, the big Christopher Nolan movie, and it fucking sucked. Like, I'm sure it could have been a really great movie, but it's a shame that I wasn't able to hear a second of it because the music and the sound mixing was just absolutely terrible. So I couldn't hear any of the dialogue. And the people I watched it with all said the same thing. The people that I've seen online talking about it all said the same thing. So I'm just going to wait until it comes on streaming so I can watch it with subtitles because holy shit, that sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched any big name movies recently, so
yeah, it was a really like awful experience. But I've been keeping up with election stuff, and that's depressing. But I've been learning how to sew in class.
Oh, that's cute.
In class, I've been learning how to sew for Stagecraft Fundamentals. So right now we're trying to sew an owl pocket. We're trying to sew an owl pocket. This is college for me. We're doing fucking arts and crafts.
It's funny, the duality of man over here. The theater freshman and then the junior government major.
We're doing fucking arts and crafts. It's so much fun.
I had to write an op-ed about a security issue.
Okay, but do you have to learn what an overhand stitch is? I didn't think so. But yeah, so we're gonna make a little owl pocket that I'm gonna put my AirPods in because that's what she told us to do. And it's just she teaches us how to do one stitch, and then we spend the rest of the hour talking about different jobs and different things to do in the costuming world. So very, very fun times there. But I'm so swamped with work. Not in that class, but in other classes. Yeah. I have to write like 3 papers this weekend. And I have to read a play. So
welcome to school.
I'm actually doing my homework though, which is new for me, as you know.
It's because it's like required.
I mean, it was required in high school.
Yeah, but like, you know.
Like I graduated with a what? Should I say? I don't want to say. That's embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. Okay. I graduated with an awful, awful GPA. And like all my teachers, because all the teachers loved me or hated me, but they all had an opinion. so the teachers that loved me were all like concerned that when I went into college, I wasn't going to do any of the work and I would flunk out. And all the teachers that hated me were looking forward to that. So, but now I'm in college and I'm actually doing the work, which is weird. Like I'm making like an effort to write papers. Like, holy shit, where is this coming from?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And when I could be writing papers, here I am on the podcast.
No worries, I have a ton of homework to do, and I'm not doing any of it tonight.
Yeah, I don't think I am either. Doing the podcast is fun. Now that we're here, now that we're together, and we've got this whole new thing going on. I like we do the podcast because it's fun, but I also feel like I do have like bigger places I want to take it. Want to do more things with this.
Speaking about doing more things with this.
Speaking of it, what's going on?
I have some very special news to make.
So we've been trying to branch out with different types of content. Recently, just premiered the Mirror Puri project, a very insightful discussion on
electoralism and its relation to Sikhi.
That. So I thought I'd bring my own little project to the table. You can pop that up real quick.
I didn't pull up the thumbnail. Let me bring up the thumbnail. Where did you put it? Did you put it in chat?
Yes, I did put it in chat.
Oh, I can't pull up chat. It'll mess up the format. Okay, I'll put it up. I'll put it up in post.
Okay. So hopefully right now, Juptej put the thumbnail for a brand new series that I'm excited to announce, the Zero Budget Explained series. So this series, its goal is to hopefully explain political concepts, things, and etc. in a hopefully meaningful way. The first episode will be around the Electoral College, which is very topical because the election is coming up, and I feel like a lot of people actually don't know some of the nuances of the Electoral College and some of the views of people / politicians on the Electoral College. So I'm quite excited for that, and hopefully this will be a long-lasting series. It'll also be very short, or at least like shorter. Plans is to be around 7 to 10 minutes for each episode. So I'm pretty excited to start it. Yeah, it's just a little nice something to add on, a little flavor to like our little channel. So
we want to do more stuff like that. I think the biggest shift in the podcast is we're just going to be doing shit that we want to do now. Because I think before we felt some sort of weird obligation to the 3 people that we listened to talk about the issues, because we have a platform, and it's like I think we use our respective platforms fairly well in talking about the issues. I mean, my Instagram and my Twitter are just leftist propaganda at this point, and it's not like we're just going to cut out politics entirely. But holy shit, that was depressing.
Also, just kind of like. I feel like a lot of times we just didn't have as productive as conversations as we could have with them.
Yeah. Especially because like you actually study this, but I don't. Like I'm learning more from like YouTube and stuff, but I want to take classes, but I don't. So it's like, I don't have any sort of real like authority on the subject, and I'm not really saying anything that hasn't already been said. So it's like, there's no reason for them to listen to what I have to say. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be a really cool series.
Yeah, and I especially the reason I chose the Electoral College actually as the first episode is mainly because I know a lot about it. But besides that, I know quite a few of my friends who doesn't really know how elections work in the U.S., at least presidential elections. So I think getting them to know how the Electoral College exists and works and why it works like that and the history and everything will hopefully encourage them to learn more about the election and stuff. And I think that's kind of just what I generally want to do. It's going to be generally nonpartisan, or at least as nonpartisan as I can. I'm trying to more just present everyone's viewpoints as evenly as possible whilst presenting. So I'm trying to be like a little teacher kind of guy. But yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully the next episode will be out next week. And I'm also not going to try to put a schedule on it. because right now it's still a pretty volatile time with my
Yeah.
schedule with school. So the goal is at least every week, but like that's not going to happen for a little bit. So
No.
every other week is probably what's going to happen. So yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
And yeah, that like just in general, the changes that we're trying to make. I mean, like we're not like delusional, you know. Like we recognize that like people weren't really watching, and we weren't really growing a fan base. So we were like, okay, we clearly need to change it up because this is just a fun thing for us, and obviously we're not doing it for the glamour. You know, we're not doing it for the fame. It's a fun thing for us. It allows us to document our changes. But also I want to be able to look back at this in 10, 20, 30 years. If we're still going, if we have built up a base, or if we didn't, I want to be able to look at this and be like, this was a formative time for me as a creator. Yeah. Like this is allowing me to sort of exercise my producing capabilities, advertising, creating, just being a content creator. You know what I mean? Like I want to look back at this and know that I gave a shit about the project.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing what we're doing. Hopefully, people like it. If not, we'll wipe it from the internet and you'll never hear from us again.
Yep. Never. Except
Never.
maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe we'll just stop the podcast and make other content.
Maybe we'll become like conservative demagogues. There's a lot of money in that. We joined PragerU, dude. Zero Budget Explains X PragerU.
I get Daniel Prager on there.
Oh, that would be so amazing. So
Really funny.
Look out for that coming in the next month. We'll get there in a month.
Yeah, we'll call him up real quick.
Yeah. And that brings us to the end of the podcast, right?
Yes, I think so.
Thank you all for listening and or watching on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, which we are now on. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stick around for a while with these new changes as we sort of get used to the new style, new format, and hopefully you guys like it. Are you crossing your fingers over there? Are you begging them?
No, please
Simping
continue.
for them? But yeah, hopefully you guys stick around. Please share this if you like it, so we can help get the word out. We can grow a little project here. And check out don't check out some of our other videos. Only watch from here on out, and that's all you need to worry about.
Wait, what about the Miri Piri project that came up?
Watch the Meaty Beatty project. Watch this and the Meaty Beatty project only, and then the Zero Budget Explains only.
Yes. That's it. That's only three. That's only three things you're allowed.
Everything post Meaty Beatty project gets our stamp of approval. All right, thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. If you have any requests, I guess email us. You have an email?
Or drop them in the comments below. I love to read comments when we ever get them.
Honestly, comments are so much fun. Like we'll get like a couple of comments and it'll make my day. Like on the Meaty Beatty project, right? Like 9 people left comments, and I like still like today, just before the podcast, I was like looking at them and I was like, fucking dope.
If you have anything you would like to see, or maybe just interesting topics that you've seen on the internet, drop them in the comments below. Maybe add us on social media or some stuff like that. So yeah,
leave a like, subscribe, comment. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all next week.